the Opopco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with substitute Mike Sherman. Welcome, Mike. Barry's on vacation this week, but we're going to do We Pick 'em without him anyway. All right, let's get started. First of all, the Thunder's at Sacramento on Thursday night. First of a back-to-back. Mike, who you got in this one?
6 straight. They've beaten Sacramento 6 straight. Once upon a time, these were two teams coming in about the same time, developmental teams in the lottery. One has moved on, the other hasn't. Sorry, Scott Brooks' hometown. I'm going with Thunder.
Yeah, I am too. I'm going with the Thunder as well. You know what I did? I stupidly picked DeMarcus Cousins as a guy I thought was going to be most improved in the league this year. Oh, by the way, you're Barry today in the picks. That's your mugshot there.
Go crazy.
Budget cuts. I don't know, but yeah, I picked DeMarcus Cousins as a guy I thought that might have a breakout year, and instead he's still a guy that can't get out of his own way. I mean, I think Sacramento is a team that in the future might end up being okay, but they just can't get out of their own way. The Thunder, much better team than Sacramento right now. Thunder all the way in this one. All right, let's go to those college games over the weekend. Starts off on Saturday with the Oklahoma women facing Missouri and Norman. Mike, who you got in this one?
I'm throwing out the second half against Baylor and saying the OU women have turned things around. They've found some winning combination. 80 points in the Bedlam game, playing a little bit exciting brand of basketball. I think the OU women roll.
Yeah, and you know what? You mentioned that Baylor game. I think Oklahoma wins against Missouri as well. But something I liked in that Baylor game, the return of Joanna McFarland. You saw her back out on the court, did not start, did not play a ton of minutes, did not score a lot of points. But she's someone that the Sooners are much better with her on the court than they are with her on the bench with that broken jaw. I mean, she's going to have to tough it out because you know she's going to get hit. Have you ever had a broken jaw?
No.
I think that would hurt. So look out, but I think that's a great sign for Oklahoma moving forward. All right, let's go to the men, and Oklahoma State, they go to Kansas. Who you got in this one, Mike?
Is the ghost of Obi Bonello going to play for the Cowboys? I watched a little bit of college basketball on Wednesday night, Jenny. Kansas just chopped Baylor up in the second half. At halftime, it's a close game. I look up, all of a sudden it's a 20-point game. Kansas is playing at Baylor, OSU, at Allen Fieldhouse. I don't like the Pokes' chances. I think the same fate's going to befall them.
Yeah, I do too. I think Kansas wins this one as well. I don't think Oklahoma State, they don't have the horses or the horsepower to compete with Kansas. I think it's going to be maybe a closer game than it would have been a couple weeks ago. I do think Oklahoma State continues to show some signs of improvement. You see some, John Helsley, our Oklahoma State writer, wrote a little earlier this week. You saw some of these young guys start to have breakout games, and they're kind of starting to put it together to the point where, you know, guys like Brian Williams and Markel Brown and LeBrian Nash, they're all kind of starting to show those signs of that really good play that we thought. But yeah, that Baylor game that Kansas, how they came out in the second half, impressive. I think Kansas wins at home as well. All right, back to the hardwood. Let's look at the Oklahoma State women. What about their game at Texas? Who you got, Mike?
Going back to the Bedlam game, not a great performance by the OSU women, but against the other night, last night, they discover a defensive mentality. They say this is going to be who we are. Let's see. Also, let's see who Texas is going to be. Whatever happened to Gail Gostencourse? They hire her away from Duke 3 or 4 years ago. Heck, it's probably 4 or 5 years now. They've made the tournament, but really haven't taken that next step. Where have you gone, Jody Conrad? I don't like what's happening with Texas women's basketball right now. I think this is an opportunity for the OSU women to go in and still win.
Yeah, Texas is a team that is a shell of its former self, a once proud program that was really, when you talked about great women's basketball programs, you talked about Tennessee. Before UConn really started to come around, Texas, the Longhorns, they were the power. And now, I saw them in person, Mike, at Norman. Really disappointing. They've got the athletes, they don't play hard. They never get out and look like they're really giving maximum effort. They did late in that game, but it wasn't enough. And Oklahoma State already beat them once. I think Oklahoma State goes and wins at Texas. All right, lastly, another road game, this one involving the Oklahoma men as they go to Texas Tech. Who you got in this one?
Tech doesn't beat anybody these days. Tech
couldn't beat you and I and 3 other people, I don't think.
Tech is in a complete redraw, remake situation. OU men, don't look now, I think they've lost 5 of 6. They're not struggling. They went up and beat Kansas State in Manhattan a couple Saturdays ago. It was a big game, Lon Kruger's homecoming. I think the Cowboys can go out to Lubbock and get a win because everybody does.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Oklahoma also wins at Tech. And Eventually, Tech's going to win in the Big 12. I just don't know if it's going to happen this year. They're just way overmatched. And when you think about, this being the first year of home and home with everybody in the Big 12, that doesn't necessarily help Texas Tech. That means an extra game against Kansas, an extra game against Missouri, an extra game against some of those teams in the North, Kansas State, that they maybe wouldn't have had to have faced multiple times in past years. Now they have to do that. I think it's going to be a long season out in Lubbock. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.